Hallo und herzlich willkommen zurück zu einer weiteren Folge Chäos Head Noah. Beim letzten Mal waren wir auf dem Festkonzert und mal sehen, was sich daraus jetzt ergibt. Sitting in front of my PC, I'd gotten lost in another delusion of mine. The concert I'd gone to earlier today was great inspiration. After all, as far as 3D girls went, Fest was pretty nice. That said, the number of people in the court had been way too high. Hell would have to freeze over for me to go there again. I would wanted to get the fuck out basically the entire time. In the end, the size of the crowd made me too sick, so I had to rush to leave the venue. Today's delusion had been awesome, and who knows, maybe Phantasm and Fez actually did that kind of stuff. They just decided to skip today. Oh man. Well, anyway, guess I will log onto ESO or something. To me, ESO was my life. It was my happy place, a breath of fresh air that let me forget all about the real world. As long as I could immerse myself in ESO, I could forget about all my troubles. I could stop being me and instead wander baseline as Nightheart. But today, for some reason, Nightheart was a little off. Yes, I knew that he relied entirely on my impulse, on my decisions, but somehow I found myself struggling to pull off things I could normally do with my eyes closed. This game was supposed to be a breath of fresh air. But today, the more I played, the more irritated I got. I knew it was all my fault, but I still took my anger out on Nightheart. Nimm mal deine Schimpels. I yanked at my hair and kicked in the bare steel wall. Having let out all my anger, I took a deep breath and sat back down on my chair. I stared vacantly at my monitor. Nightheart was just standing there, facing toward the gates of the city of Shangri-Lu, free of my control. His back was facing toward me, just as it always was when I fought enemies. And of course he was at the maximum level. It's a human known as Nishido Takumi leveled up even slightly since he had started playing ESO? No, since he had been born. If I had, then wasn't I still so bad at talking to people even though I was nearly an adult? Why was I a borderline shut-in? If I didn't log in as Nightheart for weeks, would he also turn into a shut-in like me? Whose eyes are those eyes? I suddenly remembered those words as I stared at Nightheart's back. I was mildly interested in what Nightheart would do when I wasn't controlling him. So I figured I would observe him for a little bit. I left my keyboard alone as I ate some chips. Then surely he would waltz right into the city of Shangri-Lu, wind blowing against his shoulders, right? He was the hero everyone worshipped after all. Komm, geben wir uns mal die Delusions.
Ne, Nightheart. 僕はいつでもお前を見てるんだぞ。お前はそれに気づいてるの。
Komm, Delusion kicken. Dann wird er doch sicherlich darauf reagieren. Ich gehe ja mit Full Delusion in diesen Run. And then Nightheart, let's go to the 2D world. I hadn't typed anything and yet Nightheart still spoke. Thinking it was just an optical illusion, I rubbed my eyes, but the message was still there displayed in the chat. Go to the 2D world? What was that supposed to mean? Even you can be here. We will fight together. Sorry. You are not into 3D, right? You couldn't care less about it. Was Nightheart was speaking to me? The player controlling him? What the fuck? Did he have a will of his own after all? Place your hand on the monitor. When you do, you will be able to enter baseline as Nishido Takumi. The password is whose eyes are those eyes?
だが断る。二次元世界に行くならせっかくだから僕はエロゲの世界を選ぶぜ。 バゼラードはお前に任せるよ、ナイトハルト。
After replaying, I used force shutdown to turn off my computer. Sind wir jetzt... Oh, wir sind jetzt Handy kaufen. Aber nicht alleine. I will tell you exactly what happened. I reluctantly decided to go to school today, but before I knew it, I found myself going to buy a phone with my little sister. I'm sure you don't understand what I'm saying, but I don't really understand it either. I thought I was going insane.
お兄、何ブツブツ言ってんの?
Yay, ich mag sie. Nagisa ist super.
ほら、この機種はどうかって聞いてるんだけど。
I think I wanna go home. Besides, how many times do I have to tell you that I don't need a cell phone? God, it hurts having a sister this brain dead. Ey, du bist echt fies. When I had gone to school today, nicht Nagisa, Nanami. Oh fuck, das war bitter. Das ist bitter. Nanami had made an assault right in my classroom. After happily saying, "Wow, you actually came to school today," she had ordered me to go out and buy a phone with her once school was over. Once the bell rang, I tried to escape without her noticing, but I had forgotten how quick Nanami was on her feet. So after being chased and easily caught up to, I found myself being dragged all the way to the front of the station. I didn't want to go anywhere near the station, and I felt like that's the whole way there. Even now, I already felt like I was gonna throw up. Nanami, though, not giving a damn about about what I felt, was busy admiring the many different models on display in the front of the store. I tried to wrap my head around why exactly Nanami was so insistent about getting me a phone, but I just got a headache instead.
これ、色が結構可愛いじゃん。いいと思うな。
Since she was asking for my opinion, I gave a simple
それ
reply.
っていい？
That's fine.
でもな、
Yeah,
いいのちょっと可愛すぎかも。似合わなさそう。
See, it didn't even matter what I said. That would happen regardless. I had completely lost track of how many times I had said that's fine by this point. She would ask for my opinion, but she didn't actually intend to listen to it. This was exactly why 3D girls sucked so much ass.
お兄、大丈夫？やっぱり人の多さにやられちゃった？マクディで休もうか？
MCDs. Das große M. Das große goldene M wahrscheinlich. McD, the fucking prime hangout spot for DQNs? That place was selling Incarnate. I eventually shook my head no.
そっか。じゃあなるべく早めに決めるね。でもちょっと迷っちゃっててさ。
I said, deciding to just leave Nami behind and go home. When Nami intensely examined the area of cell phones, I took my chance to slip away. Right as I turned toward 107, I saw something so strange it stopped me dead into my tracks. What was that? Welches von den Dingen passiert jetzt noch? Across the crowds of people on the stairs to 107 stood a girl that stuck out like a sore thumb. Ah! Is this... Was she holding a sword? Yep. The color and aura it gave off, it felt somewhat similar to the mic stand Fez had been using at the concert. In fact, I would say it was perfectly fair to think of them in the same way. But even then, it was still one massive sword. It might have been even longer than Fez's mic stand. To my surprise, the girl was wearing a sumo uniform. I couldn't make out her face from the distance, but despite holding something so conspicuous, the girl seemed relaxed as could be. She simply watched the people walk down the street from atop the stairs. Talk about bravery. I was seriously impressed. I couldn't believe she was walking around right smack in the middle of Shibuya with that massive toy sword. Must have had one hell of a humiliation fetish. Oh, ich erinnere mich an die Szene. Was the sword a cosplay prop from some new anime? Then again, I was pretty familiar with all the animes that were airing. Was there really a series with a sword like that? Had that slipped under my radar? Of course, walking around Shibuya holding one would be too much for me, but the sword itself was pretty damn cool. Kinda wanted to get one, honestly. I wondered if I could get one in Akiba. Even better if I could order it online. Oops. Dong. I was suddenly stuck with an elbow to my back. The pain almost made me black out and collapse on the spot. Yep, deine kleine Schwester ist wieder da. I turned around to find me with her hands on her hips, shouting as could be.
もしかして逃げようとした
Oh, wie super.
確かにナナが選ぶのに時間かけすぎたのは悪いと思うけどさ
Oh, wie süß. Oh, sorry.
だからってナナを置き去りにして逃げようとするなんてひどいよ
Oh, wie süß. A lady shook my head from side to side.
お兄のバカ携帯の電磁波の浴びすぎで腎臓を悪くして死んじゃ
The fuck was the deal?
え一生懸命お兄のために選んであげてたナナがバカみたいじゃんこうなったらもう適当に決めるお兄なんてナナと同じ機種で十分だよ
Let me first forget my arm.
本気で今日契約するんだからねそれまで絶対逃がさない
After the phone is in your hand, you're not going anywhere.
分かったよ話せよ
分かったならさっさと来て
I didn't even have a clue when I had gotten so worked up. She really was a pain in the ass. Auch, ich finde sie eigentlich ganz niedlich. Sie ist doch voll sympathisch, dass sie sich um dich kümmert, ist das falsche Wort, dass du ihr so wichtig bist. And the enemy picked out the model with ease, as if she hadn't spent 10 years trying to choose. After spinning around an hour on the contract and other technical stuff, I tried to finally head back home with my phone, but Nami
ナ
stopped
ナが
me.
初期設定してあげるからマクディやろ
Without waiting for my response, she grabbed me by the back of my collar and started dragging me to the nearest McD against my will.
どうせお兄携帯持って帰っても電源入れずにほったらかしにするに決まってるんだから
Sie kennt uns so gut.
ナナがちゃ
Oder
んと
zumindest
使え
sagt
る
me.
ようにしてあげる
God damn it, how much longer was she planning to hold me hostage? And out of all the places she could even choose to do it in, why McD? The inside of the Shibuya McD was the embodiment of chaos. There were shitloads of people and none of them were ever shut the hell up. The sheer amount of Dukians was off the charts. At the table right next to us sat three Dukian tier mothers with dyed brown hair, and to make things even better, they had brought their kids with them. They just left the children, three little crotch goblins with red highlights to be specific, to run around the restaurant squealing their heads off, and instead of controlling them, they just kept chatting away. At a different table was yet another group of Dukians, this time made up of 4 high school guys, all laughing like obnoxious pricks. Next, 2 high school girls complete with baggy socks and dyed brown hair, sat opposite to each other, hyper-focused on their phones. They didn't even bother talking. Besides them was snoring middle-aged businessman slumped down on his table, making it pretty obvious that he was skipping out on work. But what really made me double-take was this table close by with a group of 5 elementary schoolers. Some boys, some girls, they all sat there with their little school bags on the floor, happily chatting it up with each other as their legs swung back and forth beneath the table. So consider it was a co-ed, was it a mixer? It was, wasn't it? Weren't they elementary schoolers? Well, regardless, the point is that as far as the eye could see, there were groups of people that I avoided like the plague. None of me had no problem at all relaxing at a place like this. Me, on the other hand, just setting foot in here only served to make my headache and nausea 1,000 times worse. Wait, why the hell did I have to play along with my sister and stay here in the first place?
ねえねえ着信メロディーはどうするなんか希望ある
Without even looking in my direction, then I played around with my phone as she prodded me for an answer.
アニソン
I can Anime-Song. Oh, wie knuffig.
却下
Overruled.
そんなだからお兄はオタクさんなんだよ
You're the one asking me to hear what I prefer. Come on, it's my phone, so at least let me pick what I want. Und ich sag mal so, ich sehe nicht das Problem damit, als Nerd bezeichnet zu werden. Ich bin ein Nerd und bin stolz drauf, also...
あ、そうだ。大村彼らの新曲にしたら？あれすっごくいい曲だよ。最近のナナのお気に入り。
What the
それこ
fuck?
そ却下だ。
まあ、お家に大村彼らは似合わないか。
Game it fast. After showing how little she actually cared about what the fun, I took a bite of one of her french fries. I should probably mention that this bitch asked for a fish sandwich combo before dinner. One that I had to pay for. I meanwhile was feeling so garbage and that my appetite was long gone. Piece of shit sister, spoiling her appetite and mind fucking bullshit.
あ、そうそう。それとね。
For whatever reason, then I placed her back on her lap and started digging through its contents. Ah, ich weiß, was ich kriege.
お、あったあった。
Es ist was fürs Telefon. Then she proudly took out. Und wir haben das Ding schon mal gesehen. Yup.
ゲロカエルの不良品。
A defective
不良
Gyro-Froggy.
品じゃないよ。
It's not defective.
先週出たギ
ehrlich.
ョロリゲロカエル。
Googly. So what?
知らないんだ。やっぱ遅れてるな、お兄は。ゲロカエルって毎週金曜日に新作が発売されてるんだよ。
Alter, ey.
もう
Jeden
全部で
Freitag das
10種類
schon.
ぐらいあるんだから。
Jeden Freitag ist schon eine Hausnummer. Seriously, was there really enough demand for weekly
ナナが
releases?
携帯につけてるのは最初に出た普通のゲロカエルでしょ。で、次がデブッチョゲロカエルで、
Fette Gyro-Froggy.
カクカクゲロカエル。
Without skipping a beat, now I recited the names of the various Gyro-Froggies.
第4弾がのっぺらゲロカエルンで、第5弾が輝くゲロカエルン、第6弾が一番人気があって猫ゲロカエルンっていうの。
Okay, das wäre cool. Cat
その後
Gyro-Froggy.
は幽霊ゲロカエルン、眠るゲロカエルン、燃えるゲロカエルン、ゾンビゲロカエルン、酔っ払いゲロカエルン。
Drunk? What the heck? Oh, did she remember all those? Hang on, what had she?
お前コンプリートしてるの？
もちろんだよ。全部集めなきゃ意味ないもん。毎週
Gotta
買うのに
catch
行
them
列
all?
ができるんだからね。
A half-ass piece of garbage like that. To be honest, even I could shit out a better design. Wait, why had she even decided to start lecturing me on Gyro-Froggies to begin with?
というわけで、このギョロリゲロカエルンあげる。
なんで？
このストラップを携帯につければ、少しは女子からおやるなっていう目で見てもらえるから。
After saying that, now I started to put the strap on my phone. I don't want that. The fuck?
コンプしなきゃ意味ないんだろ。僕がそれもらったらお前揃わないぞ。
Die ist klug, die hat selber sich auch noch
心
eingekauft.
配しなくても大丈夫。2つ買ったもん。
Ich wusste es.
毎回2つ買ってるのか。
I was starting to see doubt the aesthetic taste.
今回だけだよ。お兄の携帯用に余分に買ったの。
わざわざ。
Yeah, purposefully.
わざわざ。
Having now finished attaching the strap, Nami gave a satisfied nod before wrapping her mouth around her soda straw. Then she suddenly leaned forward, startling me.
別に並んだのはお兄のためじゃないよ。あくまでついでなんだから。
いらない。
は
Still leaning forward, Nami opened her eyes wide. She looked like she might throttle me at any moment.
あ、いらないって。ナナがわざわざ買ってきてあげたのに。
Jetzt doch
ついで使
purposefully.
ったんだろ。っていうか僕ゲロカエルとか興味ないし、むしろキモいし。
だからお兄は女子にモテないんだよ。
Kann man so nicht sagen. I had almost expected her to slap me, but surprisingly Nami managed to rein in her temper and sit back. Then, instead of taking her anger out on me, she started nibbling on a fry instead of a she was like.
抵抗しても無駄だからね。ギョロリゲロカエルンもうくっつけちゃったもん。
She sure was acting like the queen of everything. Then again, I knew her jack shit about cell phones, so it was true that Naomi knew best
もし
here.
勝手に外したら毎週並んでもらうの刑だからね。
並ぶって何に？
決まってんじゃん。新作ゲロカエルンを買うための行列。2時間待ちとか普通だから。
Not a chance in hell. No way I was gonna let my sister hit me with a threat like that. For a while after that, Naomi wordlessly continued to fiddle around with my phone. I wasn't particularly picky about whatever she was setting up, so I was honestly grateful for the
なん
silence.
だか変な気分だな。
The next time she opened her mouth, her silent demeanor from before had completely disappeared. I guess she only needed a few minutes to forget any annoying shit instead of having to sleep it off. Talk about easygoing, in a way I envied her.
うん、やっぱ変だよ。お兄とこうして2人で出かけるのって久しぶりな気がするもん。いつ以来かな。よく思い出せないや。お兄はいっつも部屋にこもってアニメ見てるかゲームしてるかだもんね。ま、たまにはこういうのもいいかな、新鮮で。
Oh,
さすがに
she's
毎日
cute.
は
Pat,
ナナ
pat,
も
pat,
嫌だ
pat.
けど。
I placed my phone on the table and picked up her fish sandwich. She happily undid the wrapping and then hardly sank her teeth in. Come to think of it, I feel like she had said at one point that the fish sandwich here was her favorite
せいぜい
food.
太るがいいさ。
I mean, instantly stopped moving. She glared at me menacingly. Then after hesitating for a second, she bashfully held out her half-eaten fish sandwich.
半分食べる？
もう手遅れだよ。
Oh man.
そういうこと言うと上司に嫌われるって覚えといた方がいいよ、バカ鬼。
Then we ended up finishing the fish sandwich all on her own. What a fucking fettes. Du bist echt gemein, Takumi. Sowas sagt man nicht und macht man nicht. After that, Naomi had me hostage with hours of useless chatter, and by the time I finally had my phone back, it was already dark. It had been a long, painful few hours, but eventually I was able to get away from Nanami and started heading back home. Fall seemed to be in full swing now, with the night breeze carrying a slight chill, one that soothed my headache and nausea. Those two things never failed to torment me whenever I spent a long time in crowds. Honestly, Nanami cares. Okay, don't actually, but still. She only ever thought about herself. She probably didn't even have a clue about how much torture she constantly inflicted on me. If I had the option, I would love to snap my new phone cleanly in half right now and throw it into the nearest trash can. It wasn't like I had bought it with my own money after all. But if I actually did that, it wouldn't just be Nanami that would come to my base, but my parents too. And then without picking up on a damn thing, they would just go, "Oh, since it broke on you, let's go and buy a new one," like the idiots they were. Thus, I reluctantly suppressed my urges to smash the damn thing. I needed to get home, and quickly. I could hear another night of Ezo calling my name. But a single day had passed recently that hadn't filled me with endless anxiety. I really hoped my peaceful everyday life would hurry up and come back already. Oh, kommt jetzt die Szene mit der Unterführung? Ah ne, on that night another grotesque case occurred. The fourth new gen case. Like always, Grimm laid all the details to me when I was playing ESO. Subgrim. A bit later than usual today, eh? Whose eyes are those eyes? I couldn't believe my eyes. Where did Grimm know that phrase? I was completely taken aback, my fingers trembled on the keyboard. I didn't even know where to start with responding. Hell, even just looking at what he typed nearly took everything out of me. The fourth new gen case happened. I've been following this shit from this full time. Things were like heating up in Shibuya. This first was really fucking crazy. The victim's corpse had all the blood completely drained out. They found them dead in the Inokashira station bathroom, and the corpse was really something. The skin had turned green all over. Freaky, goddamn freaky. Lately I've been started thinking that, oh fuck you. Da war ich nicht schnell genug. I bit my lips as I watched the message flow. My imagination came very close to forming an image, but I was just barely able to keep that delusion at bay. I took a gulp of cola from the bottle to calm myself somewhat. Damn the grim, he had to be ambushing me like this on purpose. They had been starting thinking, might be true, there's no person could do this. No reaction? How do you know so much about it? You're talking almost like you were there. Well, something like that. Also, I guess you are still not interested in the stuff Nightheart, New Gen and all that jazz. Not enough to follow it. Too busy grinding in the ESO. Never changed or lightning fast Nightheart. A true video game addict that puts the rest of us to shame. I didn't really want to talk about New Gen, so I somehow managed to fool Grim into bringing the topic to an end. That's why you love. We love you. By the way, take a look at this. What do you think? I'm sensing some serious bait. Last time he had done this, he had acted like it was some gory shit, only for it to be in some random dumbass meme. This time could very well be the opposite. You seriously don't know about it? About what? You're actually hitting a wrong side on Nightheart? Fuck off. Fine, what is it? What if I said it's related to our precious Saratan? For real? Then I had to look. As far as I could tell, the URL looked like it linked to some auction page, so it probably wouldn't crash my browser or hit me with anything mental scarring. Slightly excited, I opened the link. Huh? Tab B-Blot in short supply. It felt like I'd seen the title somewhere before. Might have been a deja vu again. Anyway, more importantly, when that fab-worthy Cyberton pic, I spun my mouse wheel and scrolled down the page. I could tell at a glance that the image that came up on my monitor was obviously gore. I read my guess to my left monitor in panic and quickly closed the browser. The gore had only been on my screen for less than 3 seconds, and the time I spent actually looking at it was even less than that, but even so. It's like they're putting on the price of the recent trade state itself, so basically the seller is 100% the New Gen culprit. Isn't that insane? The seller name is Vampire. Even so, this, well, actually, probably just some fraud. Even so, this is okay. It's total shitstorm online. Been posted all over tons, image boards. There are even memes. It's like Gruß 34. Do this shit way too fast, lol. Yep. Oh yeah, did you notice the dying message in the image? Dying message? It's written on the wall with the victim's blood. Still can't believe it's there. The corporate prop did it for the shits and giggles. Oh hello, Nightheart son, you alive? Dying message. Is your computer frozen? I had only seen the image for an instant and yet...
こんな世界は虚構のゲームの世界に違いないんだ。
Technisch gesprochen ist das jetzt nicht falsch, deine Aussage. Weil du wirklich eine Figur in einem Videospiel bist, aber ey. The victim's last message is written sloppily in deep red blood, had been burned into my mind. No matter how much I tried not to think about it, the letters rose one by one on my closed eyelids, urging me to realize them.
あの言葉が
How is that
あの
phrase
言
there?
葉がここで出てく
I
るん
knew
だ
those words all too well, words I often murmured to myself. Words I asked nobody in particular, the words Grim had first said when I jumped on ESO. It was like they were everywhere now. Those words that I had never actually said to anyone throughout my entire life. Whose eyes are those eyes? Und ich würde sagen, dass ich dann an dem Punkt dann diese Folge auch beende. Shogun. Vielen Dank fürs Zuschauen und bis zum nächsten Mal. Ciao.